This woman explains to me that she's making 60 bucks an hour. She has good credit. She has money in the bank and she can't get approved to buy a $500,000 house. So I'm a lender that helps people purchase homes. And I did end up getting this lady approved, but it was interesting how it happened. So when I start talking to her about her situation, my immediate thought is, well, what happened with the other lender? So I started asking her questions, and she can't really explain why she didn't end up getting approved. She said it had something to do with her debt ratio. So I was like, do you have a lot of debt? She's like, I have no debt. I was like, you have no car payments, no student loans, you didn't co-sign for anything? She's like, no, no, no. I was like, you have any child support, paying the IRS? Nothing, nothing, nothing. I was like, okay, let's do this application and see what's going on. So when she does it, the first thing I look at is her credit. So credit wasn't in the 700s. It was actually in the mid to high 600s. So it was good enough to do a loan, probably an FHA loan. I look at her savings. She definitely has savings enough to do an FHA loan. You only need 3.5% down. So then I look at her pay stub and I can see she is making $60 an hour and she is working 40 hours a week. And her year to date is reflective of that. So I'm thinking, what's going on here? So now I go back and I look at the W-2s for 23 and 24. And what I can immediately see is that 23 was less, 24 was more, but both years were less than she's making right now. It looked to me like she went from maybe 70 to 90 to 120. So I call her up and I said, okay, so what's going on? You've been on this job many years. You're making way more money now than you did the previous 2 years. What's actually happening? She explains that she got these certifications and it allowed her to shift into a different job at the same company and make a lot more money. I was like, okay. So this is what I think is going on. I think the other mortgage company is averaging. They're taking the 23, the 24, and the year to date. It's a very, very conservative way to calculate income. And so the number they're getting you is significantly less than you make now because they're kind of averaging you down. I was like, when did you get that raise? She says, I got that raise in December. I was like, okay, so this is how we'll get you approved. We'll take your new hourly rate, which is $60 an hour. And since you're working 40 hours a week, that will be the income. We won't have to consider what you did in 23 and 24 because it's not really reflective of what you're doing now. And because you're doing FHA, the guideline does allow us to use your hours times your current rate if you got a raise within the last 12 months.